This is TWiT.
Microsoft 365 has this overall desire to do the AI thing, and they're going to do it across those. But, we've been following Microsoft 365 since it was a thing. And the one thing I can tell you is that it's very complex trying to keep up with what they're doing with this product.
Yeah.
Because it's so big and it hits on so many different places. So you just talk about an app like Word, literally, there are 5 major native app versions of Word in the world.
Right.
5. So if they introduce a feature, whatever it is, like one of the big ones was that auto transcription of audio recordings, which is a fantastic feature in Word on the web, not in Windows, not on the Mac, not on mobile. This is the matrix of where features get applied is very complicated.
Yeah, that might be a cool graph to build out.
Yeah,
just to show that there's no complete version of any product.
Right. So depending on who you are, you probably have access to a native desktop version of some kind. You obviously have access to the web version, and you have access to one of the mobile versions, depending on which phone you use. So which one has which features, and it's complicated. And I think it's going to get more complicated with Copilot for Microsoft 365, because it's a lot of that stuff is very app specific. And then some of it is more broad. It works across the apps. And I think the primary interface has to be the web. I really do. I know.
Yeah.
I'm really looking, so I have some strong opinions all of a sudden on AI.
Yes. Okay. That's weird. All of a sudden?
All of a sudden. Well, I've come around a little bit. I think it's a mistake to do something general. And something general does have to be on the web. I think the real strength, I'm starting to think, and this is because I started playing with these new GPTs that OpenAI did, is creating expert systems. So I created a GPT that knows everything there's to know about Lisp. I gave it every book I have on Lisp, every website, and I can query it about Lisp. That's probably small enough. I'm actually downloading some tubby models right now.
It's a finite data set.
It's a finite data set. It's probably small enough to run locally, which is cheaper, faster, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
Same. So, if you wanted to know everything there is to know about your car, you get the manuals, put them in an expert system, and query it locally. Those to me seem like, you don't have some hallucinations. In fact, you actually tell the GPT.
Right. They're going to be more reliable.
You say specifically to the GPT, do not give me any answer that doesn't come directly from the material I've given you. Don't make stuff up. So I think that there is, in some sense, something that you have locally that's an expert system that might be more useful to me.
I agree. I can't remember if we talked about this before we started recording or since, but this notion of small language models, and which are useful, obviously, on local devices, but also in the cloud for finite data sets, right? More efficient, less, more cost effective, et cetera, better performance.
You still have to do some training. Because these GPTs start with OpenAI, and I think that's what's telling you how to put a sentence together. There's some stuff that you need to do, but so I'm trying this. There's a open source project to run these locally, and you do have to download an LLM. Usually it's Lambda or something like that.
So I think if you extrapolate out what you just said, so you're talking about a very finite topic, Lisp.
It's an expert system. In the old school AI, that's what we call them.
Yeah, so that's
1970s.
Yeah, so that's one end of the spectrum. The other one is just the entire internet, and it's just what it is. It's a mess.
And oddly enough, it's weird.
Yeah,
because it's the internet.
So, but in between is, and probably right in the middle of those two, is this Copilot for Microsoft 365, because you are working with a finite set of data. It's a lot of data. It could be in an enterprise, but it's all internal data of different types, right? This stuff comes out of databases, SharePoint / OneDrive, your calendar, Outlook system, and all that kind of stuff. Email, meetings, meeting transcriptions and notes, and who said what and who did what and who said what we're going to do. And you can work with that data set. It's going to be cloud-based, right? This is not a hybrid system per se, but it's for a cloud-based data set. It's manageable, I think. And I think that's obviously when Microsoft puts out Copilot for Microsoft 365 specifically to enterprises that can have 300 or more seats, they are
worried about something.
They're very specifically limiting it. Yes. And so they're going to learn, and we're going to learn how that works. But I think it's compelling. I think it's very interesting. Even the individual level And this would be more hybrid, I would imagine, because we all have, our people in this world would have data in OneDrive as an individual. That could be photos, right? As well as just documents for work or whatever. They're going to have their email, right? Hopefully going through Outlook.com or whatever in Outlook, right? And so there's that. You are, as an individual, your own form of kind of data set, aggregation across multiple sources. And to me, it's even easier, if that's the right word, to kind of encapsulate all that for an individual, than it is for a business of any size. So I think this stuff is all going to happen. Microsoft's really, I think the thing that drove the cloud explosion that we don't really talk about a lot is the hybrid stuff, right? Because you had,
that was just a discovery. It's like, listen,
Yeah.
not everything belongs. There's no one solution for anything.
and you're coming
Hybrid
from
is
here and
normal.
going to there.
Yeah.
We're not going 100%.
Yeah, we never do.
Right. So that was that helped Microsoft a lot, because when you're a cloud first company, like a Google or an Amazon, they don't have that
Yeah.
to offer those companies. And that's part of that inertia thing I was talking about. They stick in
And now you see like Arc works perfectly well on your on-prem servers too. So the same instrumentation suite that's taking care of your cloud VMs,
Right.
even in AWS, but then also on-prem. So
Right.
they're really flattening that. Doesn't matter where you run your stuff, we can help you.
Yeah.
Come join us on This Week in Enterprise Tech. Expert co-host and I talk about the enterprise world, and we're joined by industry professionals and trailblazers like CEOs, CIOs, CTOs, CISOs, every acronym role, plus IT pros and marketeers. And we talk about technology, software plus services, security, you name it, everything under the sun. You know what? I learn something each and every week, and I bet you will too. So definitely join us. And of course, check out the TWiT.tv website and click on This Week in Enterprise Tech. Subscribe today.